The project that I'm the founder of is Sinbin, which is an acronym, not an acronym, sorry. It's a slang word for the penalty box. It's not just hockey, but here in the States, like soccer isn't huge. So, comparable to the other sports. So Sinbin really is hockey related. Um, and basically, the project that I'm doing is, in my opinion, extremely unique because a lot of the Web 2 space and brands that I've seen coming out and going into Web 3, in my opinion, just didn't understand what the value of Web 3 really was. And it really started for me. So for the last 10 years, I'm 39. And for the last 10 years, I've owned and operated my own business out of Manhattan, New York. And, New York is an incredibly competitive uh, area to own any and operate and own any business. But nonetheless, I've done decent enough to have a pretty good lifestyle business. And the business that I ran is related to real estate. I also own and operate a construction company, which is more project management oriented. And I also own and operate a furniture wholesale business, but for high end furniture. So think Lene Rose, who do the interiors for Ferrari. Think of Rocher Beaubois, who is a French manufacturer. So I have relationships with the various furniture manufacturers in Italy and France, and all to say that this entire business that I've created is essentially an estate management business. So, being from New York and being, from Queens and having Manhattan in my as my backyard, so to speak, that's where I cut my teeth. And I did it essentially with high net worth individuals at first. So the way that I got into the business was, and this goes kind of into the business development side of things. In 2012, I'll say, Manhattan went through a hell of a lot of development, and buildings were going up left and right. But developers on Web 2 were not renewing the URL. So at that time, I was working at CBS News. So from the age of 18 to 28, I worked at CBS News. I worked throughout college, put myself, uh, you know, paid for, college. So when I graduated, I became full time. And when this development boom started to occur in Manhattan, shoot to like basically 10 years after I had started working at CBS, these developers were not renewing the domains. So I bought about 40 of them and made 40 websites on each domain, and people thought I represented the buildings, right? So I leveraged Web 2 at that time to my advantage. And essentially, I scaled up. I sold basically a $14 million property in my first year. Um, Ryan McDonough on the Tampa Bay Lightning became a client. Um, so I ended up going from basically nothing to really quick up, moving and shaking, and then I just quit.
Oh, I think he's crashed. Time to live. Who can hear you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'm sorry, I
Okay.
was muted for a second. So basically, um, I quit CBS and then I opened up my own business. So that was in 2013. So essentially, since then, uh, I've catered my entire business, my entire state management business, to professional athletes and high net worth individuals. So that's not the only thing I did, through my runnings. And again, the only reason I'm really going into this is because the NFT business is a service business. That's how I see it. Yeah, there's utility, but essentially, if you buy the NFT that I represent, you're a client. As much as you're a partner in the project with me, right? This is a very much, in my mind, service-oriented business. So I think, especially as we go through the market that we're in, it's important to understand somewhat of the uh, journey that the individual founder and quote and founders have gone on. So I'm not saying this to like talk about myself as much as I'm just saying like I have the chops to do biz development, and that's essentially what I've done. I don't have a vertical trajectory within my career, but the career that I have has been completely made on my own, and it's 100% done through partnerships and business development. So Ryan McDonough was my first professional athlete client in 2013, and since then, I've had a ton of NHL. Like I'm very well connected within the NHL community, but NBA, some NFL, no MLB, no soccer. But none of in any case, I love NFTs. So as far as the NFT space is concerned, when I really got to grasp what NFTs were and the fact that there was a limited supply, the law of scarcity involved, it became very attractive to me. And then naturally, I began talking to some of my clients' players. And I really wasn't talking to them. This is going back probably in October of 2021. I had the first conversation with a client of mine. Um, and I just told him, you guys are doing it all wrong. I really think that you're really trying. The reason why I'm saying this is because you're trying to use Web 2 type functionality and you're missing the point of the whimsical, fun element of what Web 3 could be. If you think of Snoop Dogg, for example, in Sandbox, it's a beautiful lend because Snoop Dogg is a character. They're not using his first and last name, right? The whole persona associated with marijuana and everything else, it's a character. It's like the WWF. And that obviously has some value in real life as far as having some kind of association with Snoop Dogg or his NFTs. But the point is like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. These two worlds can totally run parallel with each other. So the original idea was a video game, and I'll get to that later into the presentation. But essentially, what we have now is the Sinbin. So if I wanted to share my screen, I just hit share screen, right? And I can pull up the site and so forth.
Yep, let's
Adam
do
boy.
this. Yep.
Okay. So just to let me just click here, share. So I'm gonna run through the site real quick to show you guys what the Sinbin is. Can you see this,
No,
Attaboy?
for at the moment it's still loading.
Okay.
I don't know if other people can see it, or if it's just me.
It's also loading for me.
Maybe
Loading?
you can
Okay.
reduce like the FPS.
The size?
The FPS and the size, like when you click the share your screen, make sure you select the screen, and then just like put the resolution at the minimum and the frame rate at like 30 instead of 60.
All right, hold on a second. We close out on that. So I stopped sharing. So you're saying, because I only had the button click share your screen.
Share your screen, yep.
And then from here,
you click screen, not application. Like you have 2 tabs, application and screen. You need to share a screen.
okay. What about now?
Let me check. Nope, still loading.
Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, because I'm sharing the screen, but I'm...
Maybe if you do like reloading
Sorry about
Discord.
that. Yeah, I'm back. Hold on a second. I'm going to try... Does that work?
What stream? Nope.
Huh. Can you hear me at least still?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right, so I'm gonna drop. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the website in the thing here.
No mic yet. You can.
Yeah, no mic. I put it in there. And if you guys want, you could pop on it, and I'll go through it with you here. But basically, so if you look at this. I don't know if you guys pulled it up. So you have the helmet.
It's not the right link. I think it's sinbin.io, right?
Yeah, what did I put? .com?
.com, yep.
Oh, you already got it. All right. Hold on. Let me just grab my dog before I kill him. Hold on. Come here. Enough. Jesus. All right, guys. So if you want to check out the site, check out the site. I'm going to run through it basically what it is now. You can hear me good?
Yep.
All right. So here's the deal. It's a metaverse NFT project, right? The club pass utility. So it's a backstage pass to professional hockey player, physical and digital experiences, raffles and giveaways, sandbox metaverse, private Discord access. So this is where it really gets fun, right? So let's say I have 10 guys. So first, just to show you the guys that I got. So here's the team. Here's the team here. So that's myself. This is Alterno Management, and this is Donnie Khan. He's the senior director of advertising and marketing for the NHL. So this is the team here. Now Alterno, to click on them, these are the players. So these are our guys, right? Gabriel Landeskog, Victor Hedman, Jesper Boquist, Marcus Pettersson, Isaac Lundstrom, John Klingberg, Rasmus Asplund, Timothy Liljegren, Jonas Broden, Adam Werner, Adam Boquist, Lucas Carlson, Matthias Janmark, Mario Ferraro. These two guys aren't going to be a part of it. They're kind of younger.
Mm-hmm.
3 other guys were recently signed to 3 different teams, right? So we have a whole slur of players. And not only that, this is the captain of the team going into the Stanley Cup. And he's also a high-level player. Both of these guys are going to be getting 600 points in the next year or two. 2 outstanding players, right? And matter of fact, I just announced yesterday that Gabriel gave me the okay that he's going to let me use game-used equipment and items for the NFT launch.
That's nice.
Right? Yeah. So, it's kind of funny to me to some extent where it's like, I assume people would be a little bit more static, and it's totally cool. I get it. But I think that also, I'll be honest with you, to me, I think there's also, as a Web3 participant, we've been rugged. We've been burned so much that it's kind of like, yeah, all right, like we've kind of seen certain things done, but I don't think that they honestly have seen the caliber of what it could be more than a cash grab when it comes to high level type brand. You definitely have great projects, but that high level type brand, and I'm going to drop a little bit of alpha for what me, Peter, and Martin. So here's the team of these guys. This is Peter here, who is the owner of it. Me and Peter have been doing business for about 6 years now. And this is Martin, his partner, who we've been doing, like the same time. But Peter himself is a professional hockey player. So the point, former professional hockey player, very well established within the NHL community. So the point of what I'm getting at is I'm kind of talking the philosophical aspect of it. Now that you've seen the players that we have, let me just roll through this one more time. So you have a backstage pass to these guys, physical and digital experiences, raffles and giveaways, a sandbox metaverse, which I'll get to, and private club access that happens both in the Discord and in the sandbox. We're doing partnerships with projects. Like I said, we'll be on Neo Tokyo. I'm trying to work out something right now with Avenged Sevenfold, the band. I'm also trying to work something out with Big 3, Ice Cubes, trying to get some traction within, because again, this now leans on business development, which is what I do primarily, and what I've even been brought in for on a consulting basis level for some pretty big clients, not even in the real estate world, which is just, again, if you buy into the project, I think it's important to understand the skill set of the person who's operating it. And I feel, again, like the NFT space is such a ripe business development space. It's all about partnerships. It's all about business development because the space is so fresh, right? So those are going to be a major component into the overall just ancillary benefactor of being part of the project. And now this is how it works. So if we have the 10 guys, and there's obviously more than 10 there, but let's just keep it simple. If we have 10 guys and we do 10,000 mints, basically you become a Sinbin Club Pass holder and you get put into a city randomly. Every city is represented by a professional hockey player. So on the site, I have San Jose, Las Vegas, New Jersey, Columbus, Anaheim, Chicago, Florida, Toronto, Buffalo, and other locations. I'm speaking with another player next week that's not on the website, still part of the mix. So the bottom line is that let's just keep it simple to 10, but there's going to be at least 10. And every club, or you could call it a guild, but every club is represented by a professional hockey player. Now, in and of itself, you have, if just everybody minted one NFT, you have 1 out of 1,000 being a professional hockey player. We both know that people, if this were to go in a particular direction where it's possible where it could go, people are probably going to mint more than one. And that just further decreases the pool of people who are your separation from a professional NHL player. Second to that, and this is, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, right? But just being honest, probably their friends are going to get it, right? They won't necessarily be part of the project, but they have friends, right? Hey, here's an NFT, okay? So even though it's 10,000 mints, and even though it's 10 NHL players, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but in this world, it's a very small space. These guys have very strong ties. I wouldn't be shocked for whatever the price is, 1 or 2 other players get into each and every guild, right? And I'll leave the speculation on and end it on that. I don't really want to go down that road too much, but I think that that's a fair assessment that you all can understand because we operate the same way. Look at us in the boardroom, right? We drop information in there. So they would operate the same way as well. They talk to each other, right? And NFTs right now are very much the locker room talk. So right then and there, you're at 10,000, but really you're in 1,000 because you're never going to be part of a group that's more than 1,000. So what happens from there? Okay, you're in Discord and you now have your private channel to the city of which your club is represented. So if you pull San Jose, you have private access to the San Jose channel in the Discord. You also have access to this Sinbin community private general chat. So you're going to be able to have access to the in real life digital and physical experiences raffles for San Jose. And then if there's larger ones that we have, then you'll obviously be part of that. Every Sinbin Club member will be a part of that. So where do we go from here? So we have already, and if you guys, I'll type them in, the no mic. We have already purchased and we are actually already designing our space in the metaverse. So we hired the largest independent developer in NFT Worlds and Sandbox, to my knowledge, Land Vault. And I put the team name in no mic. They've done over 120 projects, highly regarded. They're doing some of the biggest for the bigger names. And what we do in the sandbox is actually now bridge the Discord experience into the metaverse. So you go into the Sinbin metaverse and every club has their own individual private clubhouse. So instead of having the San Jose Channel, you now have the San Jose Clubhouse. That if you have a New Jersey NFT, you're not going to have access to. You will have access to the general Sinbin Club metaverse, but when it comes to the special clubhouses, you need the individual pass to get in. That's number one. Number two, we have a mini hockey game. So going back to what I was kind of talking earlier about the original idea. So this mini hockey game, right now Sandbox is operating at version 0.65, I want to say. It's either 0.64 or 65, I can't remember. I spoke to a developer there. Version 1.0 is going to allow player versus player capability. For anybody who's in the group here, I'm sure some of you guys remember EA 1994 Sega Genesis Hockey, which was just the best hockey game. You know, I loved it. And that was also like one of the best years of hockey, you know, coming out of New York. Now I'm 39 again, so, you know, I know that there's people here who weren't playing games at that point in time. But even I think people who are younger than me kind of have heard of this game before. You know, in the same vein, maybe like they've heard of Mario on Nintendo. Maybe not as popular, but it's a well-established hockey game, and you know it's incredibly like fond memory. It's a fond memory vehicle for me. So in the Sandbox, and they're already building this, we're going to have a mini hockey game. We're also going to have a stadium, a concert venue for performances. So right now, the technology that is capable to be utilized in the Sandbox is a watch party. So I can live stream from the Sandbox the hockey game. And if you think, or if you've seen the current playoffs going on, Calgary is one of them where people stand outside of the stadium. There's like 1,000 or 2,000 people, and they watch on huge screens and they congregate. That's a watch party. So today, or you know, as far as when Sandbox opens, that functionality is up and running. So we're going to have watch parties. We're going to have watch parties for every game. And the whole idea is to take the community aspect that I love so much about this space and to hyper focus it, while at the same time not necessarily needing to be in the city of the club that you pull in order to really reap the benefits. Because if I live in Germany and I pull San Jose, I may not go to a San Jose game. I may not have an in real life experience, although I could get to that as well, because there is a new thing in the NHL called the Global Series. So they're actually having games across the world. So believe it or not, some of the guys that we have play in them, and we will actually be able to offer some in real life utility to people outside of the United States. It won't be from the likes of it. It won't be anywhere near as much as, obviously, since the NHL is an American league, be the same amount. But as far as Europeans and even in Australia being left out from a utility basis, you know, for the in real life portion, there's actually some things that we've already been discussing that we can create. So now in the Sandbox, you have the watch party capability, you have your private clubs, you have a cool entire metaverse built out. And then now here come partnerships. So Slipknot is doing the Knotverse in Sandbox. Avenged Sevenfold did an NFT drop, and this is no promises at all, but I've already been talking to M Shadows, the lead singer of Avenged Sevenfold. You know, that's what Web3 is about, collaboration. So I think that gives you guys enough of an idea to start fielding some questions, if anybody has any. Don't be shy, guys. I'm a syndicate member, don't forget. see Ali typing something here. No mic. So that's a good question. Ali asked, how are you planning to get the big hockey fans on board? So, believe it or not, man, that is something that in general is, I mean, I'm sure you can understand that, but believe it or not, there's so many things happening behind the scenes. Thanks, Rockstones. Uh, there's so many things happening behind the scenes within this space that I think that that's the $1,000,000 question, is the short answer. So, and I think that also the NFT community runs in tandem with volume, right? One of the things that I kind of hear from people who speak to me about the project, people who I respect, is they feel it's very niche, you know? But then again, isn't buying a piece of shit NFT very niche? Right? Like, you know, you don't need to necessarily love hockey, just like you don't necessarily need to love goblins, right? I think 100% that the blue ocean is hockey fans. So that's my job, right? Without a doubt, that's the blue ocean. We have 400,000 at the max monthly active NFT users, and we have an 85 million viewership. Again, we are not directly linked with the NHL. This is not an NHL project. It's the connections that I have, and also the team that we put together, that we are coming into the space with a combination of a heck of a lot of NHL players, and at the same time, the focus is hockey. So there's going to for sure be an audience of hockey fans, right? But I think that there's also the gamification aspect of this. I also think that that pulls in a certain amount of people who aren't necessarily hockey fans. So that's a separate answer. I think to just directly hit your answer head on, it's Instagram. Instagram is where these individual players have a much larger reach. And I also feel like there's an education gap. So that's actually a good opportunity for me to talk about who's doing the contract. So Thrasher from Neo Tokyo, who runs Byte.io, are our developers. So they're the guys who are doing the smart contract. And it is impairment. I think I made that word up. It is whatever that word is. It is necessary to have a credit card functionality. So just like Nifty Gateway is an on ramp for people to who don't necessarily know MetaMask, who don't necessarily understand Ethereum, they could just simply buy it with a credit card. And the cool thing about having a guy or a team like Byte.io and a developer like Thrasher is he obviously understands the space, but we could do this immediately on chain too. So, you know, I guess it's a long way of saying, Ali, that we're going to make the on ramp for people who are the big hockey fans in order to use credit card. And then it really just comes down to marketing. And like you see on the website, the senior marketing director of advertising is from the NHL, is on the team. So we're working a lot on that. But I think that you hit it. I would love to be able to pull in, honestly, more people from hockey and even the NFT community, and then essentially allow the NFT community to, you know, benefit from holding on to something that is not like a cash grab or a rug pull, but something that has true value, true utility. Because I haven't even gotten into the things that we were talking about yesterday in the meeting regarding like an example of what an in real life experience would be. Happy to take it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I am curious, like, why hockey? I don't know if you've explained this already, but
That's fine. The reason hockey is is because that's where the opportunity is. And
hmm
when you want, I mean, in my mind, you can make that's where the opportunity is. I'll leave it at that. I mean, it's not only just the opportunity, I think, for the space, but I also think it's the opportunity for me, quite frankly. When you go through these, like I use the term entrepreneur loosely, right? Because there's all varying degrees of it. But when you get into these, one-off type uh, business exchanges, a client brought me up to Toronto to negotiate the rights at the Toronto Film Festival of a movie. You know, when you go into those kind of like one-off type of business transactions, or like when I opened up the construction project management company in the city, um, it wasn't because I wanted to open up a construction project management company. It was because that was the opportunity for me at the time.
hmm
So within the NHL, I'm very well connected in the sense, I wouldn't say again the NHL, I'm using the NHL, but really I have a lot of relationships with NHL players, and I have a
hmm
lot of relationships with NHL agents. And, I just, I saw that there was that opportunity. Again, going to the 1994 EA Genesis game that is just like fun as hell, right? There was a lot of things that kind of clicked for me, and that's
hmm
why.
Okay, okay.
Um, yeah, yeah. But if you have a follow up, I'll definitely answer it.
Yeah, I was just like, so this opportunity that you're seeing, are you seeing this happening in the long run, or are you going to use this opportunity and then just move on to a next one that you'll see?
No, no, no. So honestly, if you want to take the mountain, you burn the boats. I know you probably have heard that saying, right? Um, to
I
me,
actually never
this
did, so that's crazy.
okay.
Like, what does that mean?
That this is everything for me. This
Okay,
is everything for me, right? Like this has
right.
been the culmination of 39 years, even though I wasn't doing anything for like the first, 11, right? Even as a kid, I sold sunglasses at flea markets and everything else like that,
Yeah.
but this is this is everything for me, right?
Okay.
So, that's it. Like, so, yeah, this would only become bigger, and I would put everything into it. To be honest with you, I told my father a couple of days ago, I'm either going out on my shield or I'm going up high, and that's fine.
hmm Mm.
And it's the Sinbin. Like that's it. Like, so whatever this builds and whatever comes out of this NFT space, whatever comes from this, it's not like, oh, the NFT space in general. Like, it is all in on this. So
Interesting.
yeah,
If I could just follow up one more question. I see
go for it.
David wants to ask something there. Like he typed his question. Just one last
Yeah.
one. Like, do you think would it be unrealistic to think that you or maybe do you imagine yourself in the future like collaborating with NHL itself?
Yeah, I can't really, because you never know, right? The future is
Right.
uncertain. I'll put it like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Sorry for the big questions, but
No,
thanks a
no, no,
lot,
no,
man.
no, no. I like them. No, like I said before, man. Like I mean it when I say it. Like this is the service-oriented business. So your question may be on the mind of 10 other people. So they're great questions. I appreciate them.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate for your time.
Sure. Um, so Darwood, what is your age target? I don't know a thing about hockey, so I can't imagine I can't imagine it. So honestly, it could run the gambit, right? Parents with kids that are in hockey, they're gonna. I think that this is an absolute no-brainer for them, right? Their children may be playing hockey, and their kids are already probably familiar with video games. And at the same time, it's an opportunity for a father or a mother to connect further with their child, and not to mention their child gets to tell their friends that they're one of 1,000 in a club of a professional hockey player, and that club pass doesn't go away forever. I think that that's an absolute no-brainer target audience. The other audience are hockey fans, right? So, you probably have the 18 through, 40-year-old, demographic there. But I think it kind of runs the gambit, right? I think, and there are things already that I've taken into consideration about the youth, right? There are people and organizations out there that help that you could connect with, that give you that type of an audience. And again, this is not something where I feel it's invaluable. I think that it actually is extremely valuable. So the point is like, I have no problem making connections with anyone, because what it is that I'm proposing to them is something that just never has been here before. So I think, that's where it comes from. And to furthermore that answer, there's probably not a lot of children in the NFT space, and maybe there are parents. So I think that kind of touches on what Ali is saying in terms of how do you want to bring the big hockey fans in. So that's what's interesting about this space, is you're really dealing with two heads, the NFT native and then like the non-native NFT. And I feel like the non-native NFT, I could kind of talk to, like I just said, pretty much anybody, but I think parents with kids, and then also, people who are interested in hockey, who maybe play, all the way up to people who are just fans because it's a sport. And a sport always has that lineage allegiance. So there's plenty of people who could, I think, would be interested in this. The native NFT space is a little different because, like, being from the space, and I can empathize with everyone, it's kind of like, it moves so quick, easy come, easy go. And then also at the same time, when do you really realize that quote unquote utility, right? So if I'm doing utility, when do I, quote unquote realize that? But I think there's an education gap, honestly, and, in terms of like us seeing true value in a utility project that isn't art, because art is always subjective, and you could always say that art has a value dependent upon the market, and then that's it. There's nothing else you get from it but the appreciation of the art. But as far as a utility pass is concerned, depending on the price point that people have minted or bought off the secondary, I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not talking down on any of these projects, but I would say I don't know how people feel in general when they say, like, I bought this for the utility and I feel great about the utility that I've gotten so far. Hopefully there's more than not. But, trying to kind of prove the trust that the utility will be there, right? You can't do that until you get into the business relationship. And then once you're in the business relationship, if they follow through, and little by little you build your trust. And if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, they minted out an ape. Obviously, that's the apex and an extreme example. But I'm using it because out of the people who minted Bored Ape Yacht Club, who have had their lives changed, they're Bored Ape Yacht Club for life. They're not going to deviate from that. It has been a life-changing experience. So, my point is, outside of those experiences, of those ones that people have had, that life-changing one, I don't know how many utility experiences have occurred, but I can tell you that they're coming. From just my in real life relationships and so forth, like, it's coming. And I think that we're actually one of the first ones that are doing it in this way, where we're not just ending at Discord, we're not just throwing a name on it, we're building out a metaverse. We're also giving two avenues of being able to view and build relationships, and then at the same time throwing all of the utility into it. So hopefully, I know I went off on a tangent, but hopefully that answered your question. Are there any, Rockstone says, are there any trademark or IP risks anywhere along the way, as in on any aspect of the project. Absolutely not. So that's obviously, you know, whenever you get into business 101, it's liabilities, right? You need to know where you're exposed. So really moving forward, that's why I'm saying, like, this is not an NHL project. This is a player project, and it's a player project, and they're representing the city, not the team that they play for. So if you get pulled into San Jose and Mario Ferraro is the player that is in your club, right? It's San Jose. There's no name after the fact, and it's Mario Ferraro's club. You know, which, by the way, kind of brings me into another function. Like, a lot of these guys are very good players, and they're in the like beginning-ish to middle-ish of their career. So as they also go throughout their trajectory in the NHL, no problem, Rock Stones. As they go through their trajectory within the NHL and they continue to impact the sport and do well, it's pretty cool because I think it's also it's an interesting way. This is not part of the project. This is not, you know, in any way associated with any kind of direct connection to it or whatever. This is not, but it's just something I wanted to add is like, you know, you also, in a way, are tethered to like them. So you want to see them do good and you want to see them do better because as essentially their name gets larger and they do better on the ice. Like I said, they make the impact. You're also holding a 1 degree of separation from them that is finite. You know, meaning like finite in the sense of like there's not more that are going to be made. You know, the player might drop something here or there for you, that type of stuff to build out the, you know, and again, this is way down the road, so this is just for pure speculation on that part. But, you know, not every guy is going to and all of this. But the point is, you know, you're tied to them in a sense. I don't think that there's ever been there's nothing ever that has been this way where you can be connected to a player in this manner. Where do you see this project, say 1 year down the line? I was going to ask 5 years, but that's a fucking eternity in space. Yeah, 1 year down the line, I see this project full steam ahead, a full packed house, and partnerships out the wazoo, people having incredible in real life experiences that they then speak to their specific club members about, that just further fuses them together. I could totally see this then as the NFT and Web3 space continues to build as well, garnering more attention and being a model for the type of relationship building and also the type of experience in the metaverse that the metaverse was created in order to allow people to experience. So we're full steam ahead, man. As far as the team is concerned, like, in our space, we move and we shake. So, you know, like, if everything goes the way that we intend it to go, it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun a year from now. And then 5 years from now, more fun. Right? Because 5 years from now, our guys are still going to be kicking butt on the ice. You know? So it's not like I wouldn't say a never ending story, but it has longevity built within the DNA. If that makes sense. So, I gave the website. I know the Twitter. Let me drop the Twitter in here.
Yeah, I was about to ask the Twitter and the Discord, is it open yet or no? And also
the Discord. Yeah, the Discord is open. I'm going to drop that in here. So I'm going to drop the Twitter. And then I'm going to also, if so, here is the Twitter. If you all could go and follow that, it just helps the cause.
No,
I know some of you guys are.
the third, like this is the main Twitter website.
That's the main. That's the main. Oh, that is. Sorry.
Yeah, this is not your
Yeah,
account.
good point.
And also when I click on the your website Sinbin, the Discord,
It's not working.
the link is invalid. Yep.
That's fine. Okay, I'll change it after. I kind of just was going to drop it in. I haven't really officially dropped the website yet, so
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
fix that link.
But,
No, I appreciate the heads up on it. Let me also drop the Discord.
yeah, I did not like had and ask questions because you covered pretty much everything and you were like running smooth in your presentation, which by the way was
Sure.
excellent. So thank you also for.
Oh,
for
thank
that.
you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. You know, you guys are the first one I come to the syndicate, you know. And I also wanted to, so if there's no more questions, I just wanted to throw out an idea. I think it's a little tease
Yep.
as far as the type of,
When
oh, you
named-
got it.
When whitelist.
Yeah. Well, everybody in here, if you all just head over to the Discord, if you're not in there already, I'll throw you on whitelist. And you know, you already got that, Rockstones, you know. And if you want, you guys could just hit me up or hit me up in here. So this is just an in real life experience that, again, we were just toying around with the idea with. But imagine if you pull a team or a club and you're in the city and you win a raffle. You get to show up to the morning ice skate. You meet with the GM. You
Yep.
meet with your player, right? You go for lunch, maybe with an agent. You come back for the game. Either you go to a suite or you get decent seats. You meet the player again after the game. You get a signed jersey. That's just one experience that we're talking. I mean, I don't know about you, but if that was my team, that is a life-changing experience. You know? So, because nobody asked what type of in real life. Now, of course, you'll have raffles for tickets to games. You know, we have camp coming up in August, so we're going to have a bunch of stuff. Jerseys, sticks, pucks, all of that. But that one experience, that's the general manager of the team, the player, the pre-skate, a suite, and then meeting the player again. You know, which I just think, again, you know, I'm only mentioning that because when I heard that, I was just, you know, it's like, you know, that'd be fantastic. That's something that, you know, I think that the community would really appreciate. That to me is a real experience. We could do that for every city. So we got, you know, so I think in general, if there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them. If anybody wants to give any of their personal opinion about the project, I'm here to hear it. You know, and I actually appreciate that so that I'm not in a vacuum.
For me, I see Loki typing, but for me, as I said, was pretty clear.
Okay.
Also, if you need any help from the syndicate, I mean, you're an agent too, so just come here and ask if you need something.
Yeah, dude, 100%. 100%, bro.
Woke up late, listen, yeah, this is recorded, so don't worry. But I guess if I don't see any other questions, can you please teach us the project how to do an effing presentation? Yeah, some
much respect, man.
But
Thank you, bro.
I think we can wrap it up. It's been like 15 minutes. If you guys have any other question regarding the project, Time to Live is in the Discord, so just like pinging him or DM him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be happy, more than happy to talk about his project for hours.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I said, this is everything right now.
All right, so thank you for your time. Thank you for presenting us the project, the first in the syndicate.
My pleasure, man. You all have a great day. I'll talk to you in the chat. Thank you, Adam Boy, as always, man.
Thank you. See ya.
Yo, takes time.
My pleasure, bro.